a meeting of the Bay Oaks Recreational Campus, or at least that's what it used to be. And it is Wednesday, February, sorry, it's, wait a minute, here we go. All right, here we go. Wait, where's my, there, March, okay. So it is March 4th, 2024. And we do not have a quorum today, so this is not an official meeting where votes can be taken. But for the purpose of discussing what we have as a report from our Parks Director, Jeff, we'll just kind of go around the table and talk about what's on the agenda that can be discussed without a vote. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff, and he can give us an update.
Yes, welcome to all of you that are watching. I have Danielle DeBona. Am I saying that right? Because the name just changed. Not just, but.
I liked your art.
Very cute.
And I brought her up here because Nicole Berzin took the PIO job for the town, and Danielle is now the acting campus manager for the Bay Oaks campus. We'll call it that for now before the discussion. So we want to welcome Danielle. She's obviously been a huge part of Bay Oaks for the past 6, 7, 8 years. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And we just welcome her, as part of this conversation. And we know it's just going to continue to be, ran very well with her in charge. We do have to post it since it's a position, an existing position. So we will be posting it and go from there. But as of right now, Danielle is the acting campus manager, and things are flowing just as they were before.
So in order to go from interim to the position, you just
have to apply. Okay. Yep. So we have to do our due diligence. Yep. So yeah, and that kind of snowballs. I can talk about our report. We did hire we hired a part-time rec aide that's going to be starting tomorrow. So that's good. We just got word that he signed his papers, and so we'll maybe get him in here to introduce himself to us. We're really close, I'd say, in the next day or two to hiring our athletics coordinator as well, which is going to be just awesome. We want to get that up and going. That way we can get our basketball, our t-ball, our volleyball, our if we want to do an adult kickball, those kind of things going. That's the person that'll be in charge of those. So hopefully in the next week or two we can have them on board, and we can start planning some more of the athletics part of it. So
What's the name of your new hire? The one that's already hired?
John.
John's good.
John.
good for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this the part-time? Is that the one that's
Part-time,
part-time?
part-time
is
rec
John?
aide. He's been coming down. He's been coming down to work out, I think, with his dad, and really enjoyed it down there. And actually inquired to us even before we posted it if we were hiring, but we were in the process of getting it posted, and so he applied, and we interviewed him, and he's on board. So yes, it'll be great. So.
And the name of is it an athletic coordinator? Is that the new position?
Athletics coordinator. Yeah, we did interviews, and we're just about ready to do an offer. They're getting the offer letter ready, so we'll announce that next meeting. If not before that, obviously in social media and in emails to you all. So otherwise, the rec center is going awesome. If you have any specific questions, Danielle can certainly be happy to answer those as far as what's going on. I mean, I get the broad overview. We've been a little busy with getting these nice town hall trailers open. I haven't spent enough time down there as I haven't either at Mound House, but I will get back there now. Now that we get these open and we have more time. So, but I do pop down. It looks beautiful. If you've not been down there, the floors look phenomenal. It looks so nice. Everything. It looks like a remodeled building now. The floors before were a little bit
Sketchy.
We'll call it sketchy. Thanks, Karen. I can't probably say what I want to say on this, but we put the new flooring in. It looks beautiful. We put new flooring in the weight room that was completed last Friday. That looks amazing. So the whole place is looking just fantastic. A lot of activity going on there during the day. A lot of people, the weather's been pretty nice, so a lot of people outside playing pickleball. We haven't had too many inside, but once in a while we'll have the occasional people that come in. We'll wait probably till the rainy season, we'll get them inside a little bit more. Danielle has been doing boss programs. I don't know if anybody's gone on those. If you have specific questions, she can definitely answer those. Club Rec has been going wonderful. I think we're seeing about 70, close to 75% of the school, probably on a daily basis almost. So that's been, it's been really good. We just want to get down to, getting the athletics going and getting, more seniors in the building during the day. So whether that's, getting them in for arts and crafts or game days, whatever it is. Danielle's been working on getting a schedule ready for that as well. So otherwise, yeah, it's been good. You can see in the activity report that we have a lot of activities going on. Quite a few of the days. We still have senior softball playing. Little League didn't have enough kids to play on the field this session, so they merged with Bonita. But we are going to try to have some kind of T-ball for the younger ones as far as as a park and rec event. So just like many cities and municipalities do, they have it'd be like a basketball clinic that we do or basketball league. We're going to try to do T-ball, ages maybe like 3 to 5 or, split them up. So maybe get some of those younger ones that aren't of age to play Little League to get them in here playing T-ball with baseballs and softballs. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening in the Parks and Rec department. Of course, Bayside Park, a lot of concerts still. It's been going really well. Now that we have Nervous Nellies open too, it just enhances it. So we have that whole corner, which has just been a hot spot for, you go down there any given day and there's people, in the park.
It's true.
So it's been really good with the restaurants there and everything. So I don't think I had much else. The pool, we'll just touch on that. I don't really have an update on the pool. We're still working out. We need to do RFP. Now that we don't, we have to wait for funding as well. We don't, FEMA, of course, we know is going to take a while to get in. It was underinsured, so, that's not going to cover a whole lot. So we're trying to figure out the best course of action for the pool to get it reopened. Right now, our options are unlimited. We don't really have any concrete plans for it. We just know that we want to get it open as soon as we can, but I don't know a timeline on it. We had that park loan that we could have used some money for, but that runs out at the end of this month, so that's not an option. It's just one of those situations where there's not a whole lot of money to put towards the pool right now.
That was that
anything design.
$10,000 give right, and there was a time limit, obviously, that gave us a little extension, but that was up, and simply because we didn't have enough funds and information to be able to move that forward, we lost that money.
Yeah.
So is there anything that's happening about reapplying for that, or?
That we can't reapply. They won't extend it. We've talked to the bank about extending it, and they just won't do it. They've already, I think, extended it once or twice.
Well, the interest rates are so radically different now, it's probably not, yeah.
Correct.
Are we able to use that for anything else?
Until the end of the month. We have been using it.
Okay.
We're putting up the ball field lights with that.
Okay.
We're building a new backstop wall.
So we are doing
netting.
stuff at the park.
We're doing stuff in the park, yes, and we're
Okay.
using some of that loan. We're putting in a new batting cage. Stuff is ordered. I think it'll be here middle of March. We're going to put up a new batting cage kind of by the new field. And then we do have so anything we're doing, we're putting in trees. We put in extra trees in the parking lot for some park improvement. What's that? The garden went in thanks to the garden club. So thank you so much for that. That was amazing. We spent some money on the plants. We got them in the bushes and the shrubbery, the landscaping, and they came in and they did just a fantastic job. There was a lot of them out there doing it. So we want to thank them for their time that they spent down there. It looks just amazing. Looks like it did, pre-hurricane or even
Right.
better. So
Right.
they do a good job of upkeeping that as well. So it's a nice entranceway when you walk in for sure.
Do we have a ballpark of how much money the pool is? Like if we're doing any sort of raising money, like, are we talking like $2? Or are we talking like $300,000?
Well, we're not sure. We need to get someone in to do a full scope.
Okay.
Right now, I think we got about $200,000 in insurance. That would maybe cover the slide.
Right.
What Because, I hear what you're saying. You're looking at the immediate needs and the priorities having to do with, getting the gym up and running, getting the programs up and running. But it does seem that those are minor expenses compared to the major expense of the pool. So the pool is sort of not even a conversation right now, is what I'm hearing. I do know that you've got X amount of dollars that you're getting from FEMA, but that in no way even covers probably 1/4 of the total expense. What I'm not hearing is any kind of initiative from government leaders or town staff with regard to what we want to have happen. What is the next step, and why isn't there a scope of service, RFP going out there in terms of what it is to expect and what we can do moving forward to get that up and running? It sounds to me as though there's no conversation.
We have had, we're continuing to try to get pool companies in to do quotes for us. Now, quotes are different than the scope of work. Scope of work, if most of you, some of you remember with the redevelopment, that took a long time for DRMP to put that together. The unknown with the scope of work, with all the underground that we don't know, is going to take some time. We have had 2 quotes come in. They're significantly different as far as the cost. So
This is the quote to do the entire pool, including the slide and the pump and the pool itself?
This is just the pool structure right now.
Just the pool structure, okay.
Yep.
And
I mean, we
those
do have separate quotes for. We don't have an all-encompassing RFP scope to put out there. We have these piecemeal things that we put together for FEMA as far as costs and estimates, because we had to give them a cost for content, and part of that, in the structure. So they came out and we had to give them estimates for the slide, the stairs, the pump room. So individually, we have quotes for a lot of things, but we don't have something out there to say, hey, look, this is the scope of work that needs, if we need new, and some of that is mitigation. We have to raise up the pump room. We have to, if there's more new code and regulation, we have to do different drainage. It's just things that didn't happen in 1985 or 1996, whenever that was built. So we are actively working on it. It's not, the conversation is being had. It's just going to take some time.
Something though, like with John, I know that so John's involved in all the Olympic,
right.
Paralympic and that kind of thing. And he had mentioned a few months ago that he has all kind of sponsors and investors and that may be willing, depending on how this pool is going to look. And I know he's back in town in April and wants to set up a meeting with you, Andy, Frankie. Can we make sure we get that set up, and then we can find out kind of what his contacts are and what they need, and how do we go about getting this kind of money from him? Because he seems to think that he's got, I don't want to say investors, but donors or a grant or some kind of money that he could get to us.
He's got the avenues that are
Yeah.
needed to
Yeah.
be able to
Don't
get
you
the
think
funding.
In order to take something to these people, we need to have like a vision.
Right.
It seems to
Exactly,
me that,
Joy.
But that's where Andy and Frankie would come in with that, because they would
have the vision.
no, they would have
Oh.
to kind of put it out there for design and ideas and all that kind of thing. Not necessarily an RFP, but in that scope, right? They would be the ones that would have to call that out and get the right people in to create that.
Yeah, and part of that issue is if we call someone in to do a scope of work, then they aren't eligible to bid on it. That's just how it works. So if we have a company come in and say, hey, can you write us a scope of what it's going to take for a vision, that pool company is not allowed to bid on it. Because they
Why
could,
would they write you a scope?
because some companies just do that.
Is that just a government policy? Because I know private entities can do it. In other words, if a homeowner wants to
I
get
think
several
it's-
bids
I
and
think
look at
it's the
designs.
RFQ process.
And then,
Yes.
the RFP.
It's the RFQ process for,
So
the
for instance,
RFQ
for
is
instance, for
different
the
from
ball
ours.
field, we have that 98% done for the ball field, but we can't or really don't want to use that as the scope, because that company, that there isn't many companies out there that do that work, they wouldn't be able to have a chance to bid on it. So we're trying to get that all going too, and I'll talk about the ball field here in a second.
the conversation is not dissimilar to Newton Park that we're having with BORCAB, because again, to your point, we are looking at an overall vision for what it is that now we want that pool to be. Obviously, it's outdated, it is dysfunctional, it's dilapidated in terms of the equipment, and so we need a new vision for that spot. Elevating the pump, and so it seems to me that there's got to be some kind of charrette with it, which would include the Bay Oaks Advisory Board and the town staff to say, again, let's look at what we want that department to look like, what we want that pool area to look like. I mean, is a slide necessary today? Is there a better way of doing something? John can be invaluable in terms of, because he's been around the block, nationally and internationally about what pool programs now offer. And that input, along with all of us together, can, I think, guide where that RFP or that scope of service will lead to. But unless that conversation starts or doesn't get organized, we're sitting here, revamping the same question a month after month.
Yeah, and just to with the with Newton Park, it kind of, because we've had this conversation now a number of times, and I was not feeling well, so I couldn't be at the last
No
meeting.
worries.
But part of what I would like to see is what does BORCAB want to see in the pool? We could go and, so for instance, for Newton, we could go and design Newton, but if it's not something that you guys are going to support or want in there.
Yeah, and we already, I still have to bring you the list, and then I still need to meet.
So it's hard,
this
it's kind of hard to go,
conversation, but-
in that aspect, it's kind of hard to go and do all the landscaping and put all that time and work into designing something if it may get just shot down. I'd like to get some kind of idea of what you all want too, and John can definitely help with that when he's here.
Absolutely.
Perhaps that needs to be on next month's agenda. What does the pool area look like in 10 years? Is there a concession stand? Is there, those showers? Is there the Olympic-sized pool? Does it need to be redesigned? Does where will the pool equipment go? Which is,
And those are the exact
that's
questions we're
vision. having
having internally too, is what do we want out of this? What do we want to set ourselves? And I know everyone says it's different clientele, but what sets us apart? What sets our pool apart than going to Margaret River Pink Shell? I know it's a different clientele, but people came here for the little kid pool, the slide, the lap swimming. So, incorporating those into it and not just a,
well, and I can tell you, because I've frequented that pool not only with my family, but also, doing the pool aerobics, which was essential part of our community. It was for socialization, it was for fitness, it was, a wonderful way to work out. And many of us don't have pools, and so not only did we enjoy the pool, but also got exercise out of it. But more importantly, to me, when I look at the kids that come in during the summer, and you bust kids in from all over the area, to me, that provided a tremendous service to the greater community, which is what Bay Oaks is all about. That's core to our mission. And I don't think Margaritaville is a competitive conversation.
And I know there's total differences.
Right.
I know,
Total
but what's gonna and
Camp
it,
at Bay Oaks, like every Friday, we're going.
yeah, I mean, just what's gonna set us apart from going to even Cape Coral or going to somewhere else? I shouldn't have just said those two, but they're on the island. But
It does make a big.
yeah, what sets us apart?
Well, and I have to tell you, the fear that I have, because this happened maybe about 10 years ago, was at one point, the pool was nothing more than a total aggravation for the council. And at one point, the mayor said, let's just cement it over. And that was what he
Jeez.
was running on. So I want to tell
Cement
you.
over the pool?
Yes. Yes.
I just costed out a bunch of cement for over there. We would want to do that for sure. So.
Yeah, really.
No, just kidding. No, that has never been. I'm just going to tell you and everyone watching, that has never been a conversation to eliminate the pool. It's not going to turn into a skate park. It's not going to turn into.
And I think that's very valid. I think at some point it gets to where it's like, well, you haven't had it for 3 years. Why do you really need it?
Yeah, and not to say, and just
then a lot of people
playing
say,
devil's
well, We all
advocate.
have our own pools, right? Or
Right,
a
you have
condo
to moving
has their own pool.
Yeah.
So.
And not to play devil's advocate, but I mean, everything's possible. We haven't talked about it, of course, and we still are fighting to get that open. But
As long as we keep fighting, I think it's
Yeah.
it's just still be moving in a forward direction.
yeah. So, no, I agree. I just think it's
So I think as an advisory
something we
board,
need
this
to.
is
I mean,
the
we've been
concern
focused. Yeah.
that we have, that we just need, we need to hear from town staff as to what the conversation is right now, what your timeline is. In 6 months, we want to have a scope done, or 3 months, or 3 weeks. That's kind of what I'm looking for, because we as community advisors want to be able to share with our community that, yes, we are working toward that end. No, we're not going to do what the mayor tried to do 10 years ago and cement it over. We don't care about the pool. We know it's just a money grabber and we don't want to fund it. So we need to be very clear publicly about what it is that we want for that pool. Send a
don't
I
you
good
think
wholeheartedly
that we
agree.
should- To Jeff's point, though, don't you think that we can say, here's the items that we want? We want a lap pool,
Yeah.
right?
So we need to bring next month. Bring a
Yeah.
list of the stuff that you want.
Very perfect. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of Bay Oaks. Remember when the council came to us? Oh, my God. Karen was part of this Bay Oaks.
I was on
board
Bay
at
Oaks at the time, yeah.
And the council said, okay, we need to reimagine all of Bay Oaks. And
Dream big.
Dream
Dream
big.
big.
And we're doing visioning. And we spent like 2 years.
Yeah.
And we dreamed big, and the cost came at $15,000. Oh, well, that was all lovely, but guess what? You only have $5 million.
Yeah.
15
And,
million.
oh, here's the new plans. And it's like,
Yeah.
where is this? We didn't even see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
that was a different era, too.
Exactly. That was a different era. So again, the visioning, but with some understanding of what our financial
Some reality.
parameters are.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's a big part of it too. And by next, I don't know if I can even speculate that, but how much all of that would cost and where the money possibly would come from. And maybe that's where John would come in and say, hey, we have these people, or we have these people. but-
Between 3 and 5 million, or
Yeah.
just kind of some kind of
Because
goal to
everything is more
see.
expensive than we can even fathom.
It's
I mean-
more expensive than whatever you get a quote for.
Yeah, exactly.
More than that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, and I mean we know that from the
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
redoing Bay Oaks that the cost just went up and up and up, and
So
You know.
I don't know when, like, maybe we could talk to John and see if he could come in the day before, meet with Andy and Frankie, and then we could have Andy and Frankie at the meeting on our Wednesday meeting, whatever
I
date.
did put the bug in their ear this morning.
Okay.
It's been obviously
'Cause our
like every
next-
day it's been a whirlwind. But.
Our next meeting is it Wednesday, April 3rd or Wednesday, April 10th?
It would be the third. It's the first
Third.
Wednesday.
So I don't know if John could get in on Tuesday, the 2nd, so have that meeting with Andy and Frankie before our meeting, and then they could all
That makes
Be
sense.
here
We
to
have something
talk?
about.
on the 3rd. I think that would be awesome
Yeah.
if we could do that.
And maybe it can be designated in terms of phases. So, for example, if we want to go full bore on getting that pool operational, then the other elements of what could be added at a later point, like a slide or, concessions or whatever, concession stand, that could be added as the funds become available, so that we have some marching orders about this being the highest priority, and then looking at what could be added later.
I feel like almost you would have to do that, 'cause to raise the money for everything at one time would be, like, there's no way to raise everything at once. It's like when
Right.
you're redoing your house, you have to do it in 2 years, You can't do everything.
And then get the community involved,
There's been so many fundraisers lately. There
Oh,
was the cornhole
yeah.
tournament for the school that was super successful. There was a thing at the women's club on Saturday.
The Women's Club
Which
is
was
rebuilding, and look at, they're
fabulous.
doing fundraisers. Of course, those are private 501c3s, so they have a
Yeah.
little more
We just
flexibility,
raised-
and the
We
Lovers
just
Key.
raised $290
Yeah.
for
that's
Lovers
awesome.
Key.
And
That blew
the
us away,
benefit,
I have to say.
Naples Players, Gulf Shore Playhouse in Naples just they're building their performing arts center. They just had a gala, they raised $23 million.
Yeah, it's like the Wine Fest. They raised $300 million.
Yes,
Why
yeah.
can't we do a gal like that, like what Lovers Key did? Why
That would
'Cause
do
we
it.
have
300
to-
million would probably do it.
Well, I mean,
Full?
we
Yeah.
have to really find out where we are with our 501c3, because I don't know,
That's Jesse.
yeah, and I don't know where Jesse is with it. Is Jesse still on here?
I was hoping to talk to him today about it.
I think he said he was now going to be able to be more active than he had been there for a while because he's, his other position didn't.
Oh, that's right, his other position didn't
pan out,
Didn't pan
yeah.
out, okay. Because that's the first thing, that is key. You have to have that 501c3
Yep.
in order to do the fundraisers.
To do the fundraising, because governments
You got
can't do
to.
that.
Okay. So that's how Lover's Key was able to do that.
Yep, because we have a
Yes.
501c3.
So that's how it would go, like
That's a
the,
state park, state
Yeah.
run, but then the 501c3.
But then the Friends of Lovers Key is the 501c3.
Right. I heard it was a great time.
It was really fun. It was really, really fun. It's going to be bigger and better next year. I'm just throwing my plugs in. It's February 22nd, 2025.
I mean, even the little fundraisers have been great. The Women's Club one was fabulous.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of people there,
Yep.
but still.
Oh my, what did they, Ed Ryan just said that he got $5,000.
6,000.
$6,000 in
asking for
122 minutes.
Yeah, he tells people to stop donating.
He asked for 5 and he wrote out, said, stop donating.
Yeah.
Now we're over 6.
He
Right.
gets donations. Like, I don't even know where he's pulling these people from.
Comes from all over the country with
I
all of
know.
his followers. He's
He
got
has
over
so many
90,000
followers.
followers.
Right.
It's
We need
insane.
him at our next meeting.
He needs to come.
well, he'll probably be here now.
Really. He's listening, I'm sure. Are you listening, Ed?
Yeah.
I don't know that he listens to BORCAB. He listens to all the other
Okay, getting back to your report, anything more to discuss with regard to this report?
No,
Jeff, in terms of,
just recently, that didn't get on the report, and it'll be on the next report, is we had a church group come in, and they're going to be painting the concession building and the pool buildings,
Oh,
at least to
nice.
freshen them up. So we just have to, we came up with the paint. They're going to paint them on Sunday. So they had a day of
Sweet.
giving service. So we're going to do kind of the town color, almost like a coral, like the
Oh.
reddish almost.
So the
So
concession building for the Little League?
mhm.
And how is that, like the building itself and the guts?
It's fine. The only thing that needs to get really redone is there's some drywall upstairs, but otherwise it
But the-
needs.
So, I'm just kind of going off script a little bit with the Community Foundation. They gave some dollars for the guts for concession, and I was just curious as to where that is.
Yes, okay, I can go through that whole thing. So we got the switch gear done for Bay Oaks. I'll just kind of go the progression of where we're at right now. The switch gear was done through Bay Oaks to get Bay Oaks up and running. That fed from a transformer that was right there. There's a wire from the concession building to the bathroom by the concession building that's broken underground. They're coming in, Kirkwood found that, and is going to be coming in to replace that. Once they get, and then Town Hall comes, right? And then right here where we're sitting, we needed to get a second transformer that feeds that. So they just installed that last week, and Kirkwood's going to come and tie that in tomorrow. So we should have non-generator power here. Should be all good to go.
Because we're
Should be.
running on generators
We're running
right
on
now.
generators right now here.
This whole
we
thing.
are.
Yeah, yep. So
Oh, my.
a couple big
Yep.
generators, or one big generator and a big gas tank. So tomorrow they're supposed to come in with FP&L and finish that. Then we will have power to the concession area, which will speed up the process to do drywall and paint and
Right.
everything, because you need it,
course.
dehumidified in there to paint, otherwise it won't do that well, but you can still do it. And then we can really get going on it. So the exterior, it's already been wired, and all the new fixtures have been in for electric for those two buildings. So we're really just waiting on the power is the big thing, and then we can really kind of remodel. We want to get new windows upstairs, new siding. Obviously, half of it's gone, which we're still working on. But we're not gonna tear it down. We're not gonna
Right.
completely gut it and remodel. I mean, it's been gutted, I should say. But yeah, it'll go back. So hopefully soon we can get all that equipment,
Nice.
the concession open for everything that we have planned. So
Excuse me real quick. Do you have an extra parks in, like, the
Yeah.
report?
it's still yours.
No, it was here, the one you got, but I somehow
Oh.
missed one. I don't know.
Jeff, can I ask a question? It doesn't appear on the agenda or on your report, and that's the dirt. So I know that in my report to town council, a couple town councils ago, I expressed some frustration with regard to what's going in, and we had envisioned, we had a conversation, Jesse was here, and we were talking about, well, maybe we should put in more pickleball and less softball because it looks like the seniors are doing fine on the Little League ball field, blah, blah, blah. And then Andy, in his comments, said, we're going to put in a new ball field. I mean, we've got $1 million or whatever. So it kind of shut that down. So I was just curious about any flexibility we have at all with regard to a big softball diamond that I don't know if it's going to be used or I don't know.
So yes, the council just approved the ARPA funds for the $1 million match. So we have $2 million going towards, but that has to be used by the end of the year as well.
And it has to be used for the same thing,
And it has to be used for the
For the
exact,
ball diamond.
for the ball diamond.
for the redevelopment, which we wouldn't even have time, even if we wanted to do
put
a
in
scope
pickleball.
for more pickleball.
Yeah,
We don't, trust me, we talked about that and we're kind of,
Do that on the basement.
what? No, instead of a field.
I don't like.
But isn't there room, didn't they say there's room to add more pickleball towards the back?
Well, this is a bigger conversation that we're probably going to have is now that we don't have that $10 million grant, what's going to happen with the building? And these are just questions. I don't have answers. Where do we want to see Bay Oaks going? We do have some funds that obviously, we're just running into timelines with, the $10 million grant expiring, the $1 million grant expiring, and then where do we get funds from? When I go to finance and say, now that we don't have these funds, where are they coming from? And I get, good question.
It's a lot of money to let go of.
It is and so those are, and the cost of that building probably just doubled. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure.
Oh, easy.
But
Yeah.
So I don't know the direction. That's even lower on the totem pole than the pool. That discussion, because I know the ball field is going to go back. We're getting an RFP ready for that because we already had one in place right before the storm.
right.
So we can send that out right away. It's already done, all the drainage. We already got the Southwest Florida water management permit for that we can modify. It's good until 2028. Our permit, obviously, we can modify. So it's those things that are ready to go that we can move on quick. It's those other things. Where's the money coming from? It could be 3 to 5 years before we get FEMA. I mean, they're still working on Katrina money. So, I mean, obviously we want that to happen quicker, but what is the redevelopment? And right now, we couldn't even put the building there while the trailers are here.
Right.
It just doesn't fit, and this is the parking
But you're
lot.
going to go ahead and put the ball diamond in even with the trailers here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
if
it's
you walk
shifted.
around, it
So
is
it's the-
shifted. If you
it's
walk
the
around, you
stake.
can see there's a stake. Actually, we had a survey come in, and it's all staked out to where the ball field was. So, yeah, it's back there a little bit. It'd be plenty of buffer room, but
And it'll be
Okay.
done before the end of the year, so we have the money.
that's
It has to be
that's
finished
the
by the end
plan.
of the year, or you have to.
Well, they said it will take about 3.5 months to build the ball
Yeah.
field.
I think it has to be completed
Yeah.
by the end of the year.
Similar to the $10 million grant, like if we could have started it and paid somebody ahead of time, but it has to be done.
It's just heartbreaking to lose that amount of money when it's so hard to get the money in the first place.
Agreed.
I know. I'm just like this.
Yeah, I mean, you all put together, most of you put together a great plan for the redevelopment. I know it wasn't exactly what you envisioned, but
You have no idea
Is that
how
saying it
different
lightly?
it was.
But with this storm, we just
Yep,
stuff happened.
all
Yeah.
new. But again, the larger question, not just building the, Bay Oaks back, is building Town Hall back permanently. This is a temporary situation. So the idea that we were thinking about merging the two in terms of a bricks and mortar, I think that was at one point a discussion.
I don't think we could have done town hall because anything on a permanent one, because everything through the interlocal agreement had to be recreation based. That's on this property. So I don't think we could have even.
Oh, so Town Hall could not have been merged?
I think after we
yet?
looked at it, I'm not 100%, but it had to have been recreation based programming. So yeah, it couldn't have, after everything's said and done,
Who said you couldn't?
according to the interlocal agreement with the school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's the school property. This is town property.
That was negotiated because that was school property, if you remember.
Where a community center, actually, the community center.
Not where it would go, but what type of programming could be used for that land swap?
We did talk about it.
But I think the land
Or
swap
we didn't really
more
swap
had
it. We-
to
Yeah.
do with other portion, there was a boundary question that Sue spent
Look
a
at you,
couple of
Karen.
years. Right?
I think it was just
So-
part of the agreement, like, yeah, we'll do
Yeah,
this with the land, but
but
this is what
that's-
has to happen.
That
from here
red
on out.
line that went around, that was the renegotiated everything with
That
the
was part of
school.
negotiation.
Okay.
And part of that agreement was we wouldn't use it for, other purposes. Like, also in there was they have ability to use our
Actually,
gym.
local agreement, look
There
at
it
that.
is. So, yeah, we found that out kind of
trouble over
after the
there.
fact. Like, yeah, we were talking about it, kind of lost steam, and then we found that out anyway. So, that dream is.
And to be honest, I don't know that we would have the, the parking available for both town hall and the recreation.
Possibly, yeah. I don't.
Probably not.
We didn't even go that far.
So
into
you're
it.
really looking now back at building the permanent town hall on the old town hall site.
Yeah, I guess that hasn't been really.
They're looking at all kinds of things, quite honestly.
Right
is
now,
there.
the process is taking so. I mean, we're talking about millions and
ridiculous.
millions of dollars and where to put. So, yeah, that's one of the options is building it back. I don't know I don't think it got approved yet, but we asked for $7 million from the
Right.
state. That hasn't gotten
8 million.
approved yet. $8 million. From,
8 million we've asked. So-
That's what Jim talked about during CellCap, was that 8 million. Is
Yeah.
that the same 8 million? Okay.
Yep, and which I think, from what I hear from Jason Freeman here with the town, it just needs to be signed by the governor.
Well, it still needs to go, I think it was approved. In the state Senate and House, and now it needs to go to the governor. But we ran into another snafu, and I think we're going to get it. And Andy, I talked to Andy about it the other day too. We're all really positive about it, but DeSantis is trying to cut the entire state budget by $30 billion and put it in reserves. Because I'm guessing, or we're guessing, that he's going to make the play for the VP position. And he wants to leave the state in better shape than when he came to it. That's what people are saying. So,
I've definitely heard for him.
yeah. So he is on this path that he is trying to put $30 billion, a total of $30 billion. There's some in reserves already, and then he wants to add to it so that it would be a total of $30 billion in reserves
So it
for
would
the
make
state.
him look good.
Uh-huh. It would make him look very good as a outgoing governor. So that's the latest, and whether that could affect our 8 billion, or 8 million, rather. I wish it was 8 billion. 8 billion or not. But all signs, everybody's leaning or looking at that and saying, yes, this needs to be done. I mean, like at the state level, yes, this needs to be done, but he's got the final say.
So until we know, it's kind of one of those, when I go to finance kind of things, and how much money do we have to spend? And right now we don't have money to spend on it. Are we going to get money in the future? Hopefully near future, probably. But it's kind of one of those. Hopefully it's a little better odds than a coin flip. But
Yeah, and I think Andy and the mayor are going back to both Tallahassee when new session starts again and to DC, working with FEMA and HUD and everything else there. So they've already been making those rounds once, and now they're going to go back and do it again. So we'll see.
Okay, well, good for them that they're up there hustling for dollars.
That's exactly.
It's imperative,
Yeah, well, they're out there.
and that's where the
yeah,
money
they're
is.
they're
for
really
sure.
doing a good job of putting
They are.
themselves
Yeah,
out there. And
they are.
Jason, with our legislative liaison now, has been really doing a great job of contacting them and pushing our agendas and trying to appropriate more money for us. So.
Yep, our lobbyist is
Our lobbyist
all
is,
over it.
I heard the lobbyist was awesome. Jason said he saw him in action and it was good. So
Which I have to believe it, I guess. I have met him several times, and I just haven't seen him in action, I guess.
the only other thing that I have, and it's a discussion, obviously we can't vote on it now, is the Bay Oaks logo,
The name or the?
and the name. Well, it has to go back because we did do site improvements with the grant. It has to say park.
Last time we had
Okay, now
discussed it,
tell-
it was
tell me-
recreational.
That's what it
park.
was going to be at one point.
Tell me, but
We talked about saying recreational park because.
that
it
was
is
what we,
recreation, it's not
that, when
park,
we had a
it's
vote, it was the
recreational
recreational complex, Bay Oaks Recreational Complex.
All these little
That's,
things.
The- in the-
that's the last thing we, as a
Let me
community
see if I
board,
can pull up
voted
the new
on.
sign that we.
And so, what grant
It has to say park.
demanded that we keep it as Bay Oaks Park?
The park redevelopment grant.
We discussed it, and I cannot remember when it was,
The heck,
but
I
we
can't-
discussed it as Bay Oaks Recreational Park.
Campus, but recreational park.
It had to say park in it.
Yeah,
It was a
no,
parks
I have no
grant.
question about
Yeah.
that, but where's the recreation?
It was recreational park.
Yeah,
Because
thank
it is
you.
a recreational
Okay,
park.
that's-
It's not a green space that you go to. It's not like a park.
It's
park.
got to
a
have the word
recreational park.
recreation in it.
Correct. And that's what we had
Thank you.
decided on.
That, okay, that's what I was getting to. I said,
Yeah.
where did they drop the word recreation?
I don't know how that got dropped.
So my question would be, if, okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, please.
does the official name, what goes on a big beautiful sign like you have, that were to say Bay Oaks Recreational Park, right, that need to be the exact same thing as our logo?
Yes.
Put on, it does have to be.
Yes,
Yeah,
everything.
Just for
Everything. And
consistency
within,
recognition.
and within that complex, then there would be the gym, there would be the
Right.
pool, there'd be the
Which is where
softball,
the
there would be
recreational
the,
part comes
and there would be pickleball, there'd be all the programming, after-school program within the recreational complex. Park. And to use the word park is fine rather than complex.
Right.
I think that's where we decided that, yes, the name change was good, as long as the word recreation was in it, as was my understanding. Am I
Well, Newton
right?
Park and Bay Oaks
Okay.
Park are
That's
very
what I
different
remember.
parks.
Because in the agenda here, it talks about Bay Oaks Park, which was not what we voted on.
Yeah, and we were just going to bring that up for discussion.
Okay,
I definitely
okay.
think it's something we should vote on next time, because Newton Park is park. Bay Oaks Recreational, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Newton technically
Bayside
should say
Park is a
Newton
park.
Educational and
it should
Passive
be-
Recreation Park.
It was actually a passive museum. It's a
Yes.
cultural experience.
Right, yeah. Bayside Park is a whole park. Like, this is so much more than just what you would think of when you hear the word park.
Right.
Recreational park came on.
I
To
don't
be
know.
all encompassing.
Veterans Park is mostly pickleball,
We had,
down on, in Naples. I mean, I don't know if, I like recreational, I'm just saying that
And I guess I just think of a park as
it includes everything.
includes everything in a green space, but
when we discussed it last time, and it's been months, I don't even remember if it was before or after the storm. I think it was before, but we had discussed even the word pool in there. We had a
Probably why I
whole
don't
big discussion
remember. I
on
wasn't
it.
on.
'Cause we said
Yeah.
like pool, Bay Oaks pool and recreational park, like it was.
Well, that
Something
picture
like
is
that
definitely
becomes
from
way
before
too
the storm,
problematic, right?
because this was
And
my
then
thing
And
that
I
was,
wasn't
what I
even
keep
on
going back to
BORCAB.
Right,
is, what
right.
does the community call us?
Bay Oaks.
Bay Oaks,
That's all
period.
we're called,
Yeah.
period.
Bay
right?
Oaks. Mhm.
So that's why we came up with this little drawing, if you want to see. It's totally not official, but pass it on down. And just a little idea of a logo that doesn't need to be the official name, big beautiful sign. It can be in addition to that. But as far as a logo goes, it's concise. That's, I think, what I love is nice, clean lines. We can add the word recreation, but it's just going to muddy it up a little bit. You can still totally do it. This is all my opinion.
I do
It
like
means
that.
nothing.
Do we have to have the park on the logo? Could we
don't
just
know.
call it Bay Oaks,
I like that.
like everybody else calls it?
Well, it's just, I think she was asking, like, if you put it one place, does it have to be everywhere?
Right. That's another part of it.
For consistency, I mean, like, this one
Well, I
logo
think
is everywhere,
everybody really sort of shortens anything. I mean, but the official name is, the Bay Oaks Recreational Park, and people are going to call it Bay Oaks because it's shorter. But it still has the actual name, which I think still needs to be in the sign. So
Yeah.
this sign, for example, would stay the same, but instead of saying complex, it would be park.
Yep.
And then all
Instead
of the things that it
little
offers.
tree,
Hmm?
See where the little tree logo is? That was our old school logo.
Right.
Instead of that, could be something similar to that.
Yeah.
It's just my idea. Combining
Yeah.
it, but for.
Or we
more
could take,
concise.
but
For
we could take your
shirts and
idea,
all
Danielle,
kinds
and
of
use
things.
that and have
I
it
really
built.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
Because
can't
it's got
find
the gray
the-
image of the of the tree in the
Yeah.
background.
That looks really
I really
good.
like
Yeah,
that.
I like the icon, I like, yeah.
But I
But I like
guess,
the word
Okay, so this, I'm just gonna pass
Put
this,
that in here because it doesn't fit.
I'm gonna pass this around, and this is the sign we're getting that was approved.
by whom?
That I don't know. That was before
Wasn't-
my time.
Wasn't
We
by
did
us.
approve a sign at one point.
This is the sign that was paid for and started before the hurricane,
Yeah.
and we just
God.
ended up paying.
No, yeah, we
See,
approved
that's
it.
probably
Yeah.
that one.
The purchase order is
Oh, that's what
complete.
it, no.
No, that's not what
Yeah. I
we,
think it says pool and recreational campus underneath. That might have been how it blended in.
yeah, but we never approved it. That was being talked about, but there was, it didn't, it never came up
Oh,
as an
Roger
agenda
approved
item
it.
for Bay Oaks, if I'm not mistaken.
Roger
did a lot of
approved it.
things.
That's probably what happened.
Exactly
But
what
that
happened.
sign is in production as we speak.
We
Yeah.
did, I remember the pool and recreational campus underneath because it wasn't on a sign and we needed it on the sign. So when people passed by, they knew it was a recreational campus and we had a pool.
And I don't even like the font. I don't like the style of the sign
Because
at
at one
all.
point, this welcome was actually up here.
Yeah,
It changed a lot.
yeah, this was not part of, this was not
I don't know that
vetted by
papers.
Bay
I
Oaks.
mean, the
Sorry,
notes are
it was not.
available. We can look at-
This was.
Actually,
I remember we did have
Jason
this
Freeman just emailed me
conversation.
the minutes from 2002. So.
Is that what it was from? 2022? I think it was before the storm though.
It was before the storm.
Yeah.
And this
Well,
is the
that
one
must have been
when we started.
decided
Yeah,
before it even came to Bay Oaks. I mean, before it came to BORCAB.
No,
I
we
like
talked
your
about
font
it.
better. I just
It would
think
be
it's
really easy
cleaner.
to pull the
Oh,
minutes
yeah,
and even
much.
see who's in that
I don't
meeting
like
that
the-
day and
the
everything. But we definitely
Italic
discussed
font
it.
Yeah.
on Bay Oaks. is
because
tacky.
because before the storm, this was ordered up, and we had to quickly tell them to hold off
Oh, good.
and not
But
install
now
it or build it.
But now it's in production.
But
Yeah.
we talked about that a lot.
But
Like, it was more than one meeting.
But when did that go
remember?
into production?
It was supposed to be right before the storm, but we
Okay,
halted.
but then in
and
the
then,
meantime, when we had our Bay Oaks meeting,
and then when we ordered and then I just ran with it because that's the one that was.
yeah, but I don't know in the
Well, that
minutes, was
leading
it
time.
ever approved by us? Because
I'd have to look back to 2022.
But
I think it would be beneficial for you to look back and see if it was approved, but I do remember talking about it.
yeah, because
Do you remember?
I don't think, we didn't approve it.
We did. I can't
Bay
remember.
Oaks
if we
did
approved it.
not
I remember
approve it.
talking about it, but
Yeah.
I cannot remember if we approved it or not.
Oh.
We discussed it multiple times. We moved the welcome different places,
Well,
and we moved logos
We know
different
who
places.
put it into production
Yeah.
and then called it.
Well, but the fact that it wasn't made and then you had an opportunity to revisit it, that
Right.
it still was,
I didn't know it was in contention. I guess
You
yeah,
weren't here
well-
then, right?
I wasn't here, and that's why. But I mean, we just said we need to get going on the sign because we were
who
doing.
said?
I don't know exactly who said it, but
Who needed to get it in production?
we just wanted to get it done because we didn't know about the
Just one more thing
redevelopment.
to move forward
Yeah,
on.
so we did the sign down at Bayside, and that's what kind of sparked the conversation. Is we need to get this one going too.
Well, there was a big
And I
conversation
said we have a design.
about signage in
Yes.
general.
Oh, yes,
There was a
absolutely.
big conversation about signage in general, starting with street signs,
Mm-hmm.
Bayside Park,
Oh, yeah.
the different
Logo,
logos,
all of
all that kind of stuff to get people knowing where they were going. And I have an idea that it just became one lump sum.
Right.
Let's get
Move
moving.
forward, keep going.
This one talks about
Because we had
The
funding for
design
that
of the-
too. We didn't have to pay for any of the stuff, like the street signs and everything, that all came through funding.
And that came out of when the new logo for the town happened.
this. I got the minutes from April 5th, 2022, and the minutes say consensus was reached to include Bay Oaks Park, welcome on the crossbar, pool and recreational campus, and open to the public on the sign.
We had welcome on the crossbar.
That's what it says. Consensus was
not now.
reached. So
Oh, it's a consensus?
That's not the same as.
What, did you say April?
April
2022.
5th, 2022.
That's way before the storm.
Does that matter? It doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's the
April
point at this point.
22,
Yeah, because the storm was September 28th of 22.
I think is. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it's just like
I feel like at this point that it's not going to change anything. So
Well,
I don't know.
Barbara, you suggested adding welcome and making the
February
logo
of
smaller.
2023.
We did move the welcome, and the logo wasn't on it. I remember that we put the logo on the
My
side,
name's in print.
because the logo has to be everywhere, really, to make it consistent.
So this must have been a recommendation to the
So
council?
what happened in May? Did we talk about it again?
I don't
Yeah,
have, what else did he send me here?
I mean, so much of that stuff with the funding and everything, just like if there was something on the books, it was like, just get it through because we've got the funding, we don't want to lose the funding, so let's just do it. That's what happened with the street signs, Bayside Park, and we had already ordered Bayside Park, and now we've changed the name.
So now there's a
To
new one.
Memorial. Bayside Memorial Park.
Veterans Memorial Park, yeah, that kind of thing, so,
But the sign just says Bayside Park, right?
pardon?
The sign is Bayside Park.
There's a new one being.
There's a new one being
in
made.
production.
It was Bayside Park, and now
This is
when
yours,
everybody
right?
voted on it, it's Bayside Veterans Memorial Park, is that what it is? I think
no,
so.
Bayside Memorial Park. We took
So-
that letters because it's all encompassing.
It looks
Okay.
like June
Yeah, so it's Bayside Memorial Park. is the
Memorial Park.
official.
June 7th, 2022, the final design was sent in. Questions were there. Yeah, on that date, the director Geeson described the new sign and noted it was in production in June of 2022.
Director who?
Keith Allison.
Allison.
Who was it?
Oh,
that
Allison.
Everyone except Karen Woodson.
It was what?
Karen. Everybody was there except I was asking who was it that day.
Yeah, you were excused.
Oh, thank you.
Vacation, it was summer.
No,
Yeah, so everyone, it was Bruce, Beth,
I was campaigning then.
Becky, probably,
Yeah.
And I was there, right? That-
Barbara,
yeah.
Betty. So it looks like it was vetted by
At
the,
least it
Was that a
says school
consensus or a
immigration on
vote?
campus. It says it on it.
says consensus. I don't know.
That's pretty fuzzy. Mm. And that was a final before it went into production then?
April 1 seemed to be the final, and then June was in production.
Here, which is false, clearly.
No, it was started. We had to tell them to hold off, and they said they would stop. Yeah. So, anyway.
So the sign is going to say
Sign, I guess long
Bayside
story
Park.
short, the sign is in production. And that the sign will look like what we passed around.
All right, well, let me tell you.
So then
Now I
according
like that even more.
Oh, wait, wait,
It was really nice to begin with. They're
So-
changing it now.
wait, back up a bit, because I think what you're saying is that the sign that Roger was sort of, pushing was the one that was talked about at the April 22 meeting.
Which is
And the
that
consensus-
That's the
one?
same sign.
That's the same sign.
Same
The
sign.
one that we just looked at. No.
Yes.
The one on the
The-
computer.
No, the one on the computer.
Correct.
Okay, but then what Danielle is proposing with her sign, that one, what are we doing?
That's a different logo that can go on merchandise. We can sell it. It can,
It's not the sign.
it's not the
I
sign.
see.
This is if we want it, because even pre-storm, we were thinking about having some Bay Oaks,
T-shirts
merchandise,
and
T-shirts.
merchandise
Gonna
and
make some
hats
shirts
and
some
So-
of this fundraiser.
Yeah.
The elementary
Yeah, but
school's
just to
doing
gain some more revenue, we were going to do it at the pool as well.
Yep.
But then that was right before the storm, so we want to sell some of these. But this is consistent
It is a
with
very clean
this is consistent
logo,
with what
yeah.
the sign is going to say.
Okay, well,
But we can't vote on anything today anyway, so.
Looking at it
More
with
of
different
a
eyes
logo
now.
now, yeah, it's just-
Yeah, if you get Tuna's gonna make you some shirts and put that as the big picture on the back, maybe like the.
Mhm.
Sell 'em.
well, if you got a swimmer on there, you better bring it down. You better
is-
make it happen.
I am telling you, we're not ordering the concrete right now.
So in other words, this is just a concept, it's not for future conversation, is what you're saying, okay.
I like it, and I like that the colors are these colors.
They are the
Yeah, I
town
like the
colors. We've been trying to incorporate town colors in everything,
In
whether
everything.
it's even the bike racks. They're bike rack blue,
That's
bike
what
rack.
Karen did with her whole
orange.
campaign.
I did.
Yeah.
My
So-
entire
Color
campaign
coordinated,
was
like she
based on.
already was a member.
I still wear my shirt.
And I had a marketing person tell me, this is what you want to do. Because I had a
Obviously.
whole different design, and she said, nope, this is what you want to do. So it, I don't know,
Served
kind of
you well.
worked.
So I guess that's that discussion.
Oh, I have a question, because in this report, it does say something about 90% redevelopment plan, 90% design completed. What is that about?
So we're not at 100 until all the permits were done. So we filed for a permit right before the hurricane, and when it's 90%, when it's 100%, it's ready to go out for bid.
Right.
So it's only at 90 right now because we are going to have to modify the permits, so it can't be 100% yet.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is because town hall is now no longer part of that conversation, the town is now back to base one with building a community center using that same design. And that 90% of it is done, which it was done.
More than likely, but nothing's been decided. I mean, these trailers could go away in
But
2
I
years.
don't know that we've decided that we're not building a new.
That's what I mean. Nothing has been.
It's still in discussion. There's,
But right now, it's going to have to be when we do a RFP or get it out for bid, it's going to have to be phase 1, phase 2. So we'll do the ball field and the pickleball courts first. Phase 2, then, of that permit will be the building. Because right now, they can't send it out for RFP with the building in there, so they're going to have to piece it up.
Yeah, and I guess, it's kind of coming back to me anyway, in my observation, pieces and parts, but I do remember the last time we talked about the building, let's say, there was the conversation that we could, combine both town hall and community center, and there would be a whole new design, a whole new effort toward that end. Now what I'm hearing is different in that now this redevelopment plan from a couple of years ago is back on the front burner as a topic of conversation for scope of services. So this is,
I don't know about front burner. It's pretty far off.
part of the number
It's in the
of
microwave.
things, I would say. Yeah.
But the conversation, I mean, I
We
think it
haven't, we
needs to
haven't,
be-
no one has said we're not doing the community center as is. And no one has said we're not redesigning, or we're going to redesign the community center. It really hasn't been a topic too much of conversation because we don't know where funding will come from. It's kind of, one of those, we have the funding to do the ball field and the pickleball courts. So that's something we're gonna try to push through quick. And just all this happened with putting the trailers here and so we
Because
don't,
we had to get off the fire property.
we had to get off fire property, correct?
Right,
So,
yeah.
that's
no,
why we
I
had to
totally
move.
understand about the
so
temporary city hall. for sure.
let's just call it phase 2 of the Bay Oaks redevelopment plan, which would be a building, hasn't even really been. I mean, it was discussed not right after the storm, but I know we had talked about, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
But it
This
didn't
is the
happen.
plan you're talking about, right? Where there's the building right here, there's the ball field, there's 4 new pickleball
Yeah, and the building was
courts.
sort of like at an
Like a-
angle shape too,
like a
I
V.
remember.
It's almost like a V shape.
Yes,
Correct.
yes,
Yep.
yes, that,
So this is still in force, is what you're saying?
in terms of where the ball field is going and
That's
where.
the 90% DO design
Okay. I would-
as it sits. Now
And
that
you're
it can't go, as long as these trailers are here, it can't go back to that design
right,
because of just space.
I
Right.
feel like we need the pool first,
Before what?
the building.
And that's a
I
discussion.
mean,
That's
Like the pool is functional. We need a function. That's something we can use. Building.
I'm not. I can't
Well,
say
I
one way or
guess-
the other. It's a direction that either funding is going to determine,
Right.
or BORCAB will
specific.
will help determine, or the council will determine. It's not something we. Oh,
So, I mean, truly, so much of it depends on funding and timing of funding.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because, again, underinsured on everything, including our town hall. And
That's the nature of the island, right? I mean, everybody's under.
exactly.
yeah, and I think with the priorities and some of them we've set, some are we have to do structurally. We want to harden the towers to make our water safe. We want to
Right.
do all that. There's
so
some
much
safety aspects.
infrastructure.
There's infrastructure, or even trip hazards or whatever they are that are going to take priority over some of the stuff that we may have. But that's not to say it's not going to get done. It's just,
And
you
I'm
wouldn't
sure-
be thinking this. How many? What is it? 20 months after the storm? We wouldn't think we'd be having these
18.
conversations. But
We're still fighting to get, derelict buildings down.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And to be honest, I'm sure that precedent will be set to build the permanent town hall before it builds a recreation center.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's look at the reality.
Funding.
depends where the funding comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. If we get funding for recreation over a town hall, then
It's specifically allocated.
it depends on how it comes through. Like you go for all these grants, and that's what's the company that we work with? Like, I'm spacing their names.
Tidal Basin?
DMRP?
Tidal Basin.
Oh, the
Tidal Basin is constantly in search of all these grants and where we can get funding for this and funding for that. And then what the state comes through for us, that's a wait and see. We won't know until July, August? No, because they'll be out, when do
Well,
they
it
go back
should-
in session?
Well,
September?
the funding I don't think it'll be available to us till. I don't know. Shoot, no, I don't know either.
I heard something in July or August, but I don't know what that one's for.
Well, they would approve it now, and then I can't remember what the date was.
I'll ask Andy
Yeah.
in the next meeting.
I may get an email from Jason here in a second.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on, we're going after all these different places, and where it comes in from, it kind of decides, and the timing and the deadline of the funding, then kind of decides where we can use it.
Well, and that was like Bayside. I mean, we had some money to use, but then the governor's wife's foundation came in and gave us all this money, $500,000
Yeah, $500,000 to
to do
Bayside.
it. So it's like, nope,
Out
of
the
course
blue,
we're
it's
going to
like,
do that
we're
because we
doing it.
have to. Now, if someone wants to give us
Yeah.
$8, $10, $12 million to build, I don't even know what a town hall is going to cost, honestly, but,
Oh, the town hall was like at 18.
18 million, okay, yeah.
18 million. or
Was that
something.
also underinsured?
Oh, yeah, totally underinsured.
Oh,
I think the only thing that
totally.
wasn't underinsured was Mound House and Newton.
I'm sorry?
I
What?
think the only thing that weren't,
Mound House was the only one that wasn't underinsured.
yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
Newton, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Everything else, like the pool was,
And even if it was
And bail.
insured, it's getting the money.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing.
Right. That's the stuff with FEMA. I mean, like,
Well,
you
and
said,
we're-
still doing Katrina.
And it's all cost-wise with FEMA. We are still, like the pool, we're doing a second site inspection.
Are you ever really going to get FEMA money, though, is the thing. I mean, it's not something really I think you can.
It's a possibility we don't. I mean, of course,
But
we're,
that's what all the trips are to Washington, too.
it's not money
is
in the
to really
bank.
be pushing. I mean, we're not letting up.
And we're not
That's
just
the key.
accepting what FEMA is
'Cause
telling
of course they're
us.
going to want to not pay.
So, like for the pool, we're doing another site inspection next Tuesday because I feel, or we felt, as a town, that the inspector that came in didn't know anything about pools.
Which is a big deal.
So he did just, well, that tile is cracked or whatever, and not the structural part of a pool. That's a huge part of it. Obviously, if anybody that knows anything about pools or just a novice to it would look at the pump room and be like, that is a disaster.
Yeah.
Just the way it went through. So we're trying to fight some of those numbers as well to up those, but because 200,000 is not going to do it.
No.
So, getting into moving along with the agenda, sorry, but getting into, again, this issue of the rebranding, we know that the park signage is already going up, right? Because that's not up for us to even have as a conversation. That's already a done deal from what we hear. It's Bay Oaks Park. And so as far as rebranding, is it now no longer a discussion to have it as BORCAB? I mean, do our names all now change as a
That
result?
would be pop.
We are going to have to discuss that, but it's no longer the Bay Oaks Recreation Center.
There's no cap.
BOPAB.
Well, no, well, the
BOPAB, yeah.
BOPAB,
campus.
Yeah, the
it's
C
not a
goes away
campus
too.
anymore.
Yeah.
BOPAB.
yeah. BO, BO, PAB.
Bay Oaks Park.
Advisory board.
Bop.
No, B-A-B-O-P.
Bop.
P.
Bopab.
Bops. We're the bops.
Bop.
BOPAB.
Bobcat. Bobcat. Bobcat.
C's gone also.
So yes, we probably
wrote it
will
down.
have
It's
to
BOPAB.
modify and adjust that as well.
You know, and to me, because there are all of these different ways to think about a park, to your point, one could be a nature
Right.
park, one could be like Koreshian, for example, or one could be Newton Park, which is primarily, a beachfront park, and, they each have their own entity. But to me, having the word recreation to define, especially because we were so hidden, helped with our message, our identity. So personally, I hate to see that word recreation go, but I'll go with the majority, so it
It was
is.
on
Still on the
sign.
sign. It is still on the sign.
It is part of the logo on the sign, recreation.
Yeah. Okay, member items, anybody, and we didn't do a roll call, because this is an official meeting, even though we're not. So I just, quickly, while we're going through our member items, just state your name, that you're actually here, and you've
I'm
got
here.
something to say.
Joy Sullivan here. Yeah, I actually do have a little bit of an update on the pickleball tournament.
Great.
We have 28 people signed up for the afternoon, which is 7 full courts.
Wonderful.
That's
So
awesome.
it's wonderful, and I'm thrilled it's divisible by 4, because I was going to have to fill in, or we were going to have to draft people. But we have 17 for beginners, so that's 1 extra person. So I'm in the process of drafting 3 people, and it may be our 3 volunteers from FGCU, and just say, pick it up and do it,
Have at it.
So we're still working on that. Ed Ryan, in the way only Ed Ryan can do, has challenged Mayor Dan and Vice Mayor Jim for a match
This should be good.
at 8 o'clock in the morning
wow.
before everything
I
starts.
We
cannot
can bring
wait
out the
to see
bleachers too.
Oh my
so
gosh,
everyone knows.
8
that.
a.m.
We need to bring out the bleachers for that. That would be
We've already
amazing.
talked about having all the bleachers on the side anyway. Nan Williams is going to be my MC, and I'm going to be there as the only person that really knows anything about pickleball. But anyway, they're going to play for 30 minutes, and I've overheard them last Saturday talking about their little outfits that they're going to wear during this.
Little outfits.
Outfits.
You said little outfits.
Date, give us the date again.
It's March 16th.
March 16th, okay.
And this little fun match starts at 8, and the regular matches start at 9. And we've got so many little things figured out. We've got prizes. We have first, second, and third prize. I have a little giveaway for Dan, Jim, Kim, and Ed. And Alex King underwrote the whole thing.
Nice.
The Whale and Rude Shrimp both contributed to the prizes. So, and the way I like to look at this isn't just a fundraiser, because really it's not a huge fundraiser event. $40 a head isn't really a ton of money. But what it does is it showcases Bay Oaks. It brings the community together, and it's just something for the island that's going to be fun. So
It's a friend raiser.
it's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Well done, Joy. That's
So-
awesome.
And I really have to give credit to the Bay Oaks folks, because I walked in with the idea and they said, "Let's do it." So
That's funny.
that's it.
Barbara Hill and I have nothing except I want to sort of piggyback on what Joyce said. The team at Bay Oaks is incredible. You guys do a great job. It's never been run better, in my opinion. So just kudos to you, and especially during these, rebuild times, especially challenged.
Yep.
All right, and you have to state your name, Becky.
Becky Guidry. I don't have anything else to add.
Nothing to add, and
Nothing to add.
So Karen Woodson, I'm
Yes.
the liaison. So I just have a couple questions. Do we currently have any open seats on BORCAB? Or is it just
No.
people couldn't make it? Okay.
Couldn't make it, yep. We're full.
Okay.
And I guess there is no real record here, but it's just important, and I know you all know, because obviously you're here, and I'm not trying to game anybody, but it's important to get everyone here
quorum.
if you can, a quorum.
Absolutely.
Because right now we can't vote on anything. There's some stuff we probably could have talked about. And I
that's-
apologize, and I don't want to sound like it's wasting your time, but,
No, it was good discussion.
It
I
is
think.
great discussion.
Well, it hasn't
Yeah.
had a quorum the last several meetings, it seems like. and
Well,
I
we
but
think
did
I
have
that's
I
the
still
last
want to have the
I missed the
meetings.
last meeting. That was the one after
yeah.
last. one.
Regardless, so I don't want to cancel at the last minute anymore.
Is-
I think it's
is-
important to have the
No,
meetings.
what I'm saying is there's consistently not enough of us for some reason. So the people that are on the board can't attend.
Yeah, I think that maybe should be an agenda item about,
If you miss like so many meetings, like, I mean, if you can't ever come
well,
to a
there
meeting,
is
we have
that.
no
If
idea.
there are unexcused absences after, I think, 3
I think it's
meetings,
3.
You are off
But
the,
what if they're excused? What if, okay, I'm working, you know? Like, I know particular, my husband wants to apply for some sort of advisory board, but he's never here during the week, so he can't. Like, you can't make the meetings, you can't be on board.
right.
So, I
Right.
mean,
the one thing I would like to see, Jeff, if it, and I know you're hugely busy, but if you can, a week in advance, bring out to every Bay Oaks member, please indicate your attendance. Let us know if it's excused or unexcused, so we know 5 days in advance that we are going to have a quorum.
Right.
I
Because
didn't, like, today, I didn't know until
Right.
yesterday or.
Right.
well, there was also
Today.
somebody that was supposed to be here that you didn't know wasn't coming.
Well,
Yeah.
but
That would've
I
been our
can't
fourth
be
person.
here
So-
in physical in April, but we can't even vote to approve me being on the phone.
exactly,
Correct.
until
Somebody's
there's
on the
enough
phone.
people.
Which
Until-
means,
until
does
that
mean
morning.
I can't be on the phone?
Well, we won't
Correct.
know until that morning or that
Until-
day.
But
Right.
this is what's consistent right now. We are consistently not having enough.
Right.
It wasn't like that before. We were always, people showed up.
That's
And
true.
times are
I-
different now with people living off
I know,
island
but
and stuff,
like
but
Betty
still,
is-
I know what
You
you're
can't let
saying. I know
us
what you're
stay to be
saying.
on the board either. Like, I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
that particular person is very useful.
Well-
and we need him on the board. So I don't mean it in that way, but like, it's really hard if you can't be at the meetings. We can't
Yeah.
discuss what we need to discuss
Right.
either.
I agree, and that's why I brought it up, because that's very important, make every effort to be here.
What do
Well,
we,
maybe we need to ask each individual really and truly what their commitment is, and I'm thinking of one person in particular, and whether they really want to continue or not. I mean,
Do you want to take that on, Jeff?
Yeah, I can have conversations with everyone, but yeah, certainly.
I did miss last month, and I have not
I
missed.
mean,
I would hope-
obviously, I
Yes.
can't do
That
it
was my
because
first
I,
meeting.
in terms of being on the Bay Court, we're not allowed to talk to the other people about
Yeah,
any
Yeah, we
agenda
can't-
items.
I can, no.
That would have to come
Right.
from town
Yeah.
staff if you
Right.
couldn't, if you could take the time to do that, because
will.
I think that their level of commitment is very key as we try to grapple with.
And do we
Next
know who's coming up for reappointment in, what is it, September?
It's not me, Barb, or correct? Everybody else.
would-
We're the ones that just read it. It's
I'd
2
have to
years.
look at the,
It's
I
every-
can't
it's every
look
2
and
years.
I was
I can't
re-upped
remember
in
either.
October.
Oh, it was you? Okay, so it was
So
me,
I
you,
have-
and
you
one
and
other
John
person.
was re-upped, right? Or John
No.
was in?
John, yeah.
No,
Jesse?
John came in, and John took Beth's place right after the storm, so he's this year. Because she was supposed to be this year, and she didn't reapply, like, time got away from her.
I'll have to double check, because I think what happened was somehow
is
they gave him a
definitely this
1-year
year.
term.
John took Beth's place.
I'll have to look.
But it was me, you, and there was somebody else,
Yeah.
another person.
So I know I
Jesse?
was just re-upped on Monday because we went around
I
with the new
watched it.
Oh,
council
yeah.
For
member
the
coming on
liaison,
and
yes,
for the
I'm so
liaison
glad you
position.
wanted
And
to
I do have to
continue
say, Karen,
Absolutely.
you were the most enthusiastic about staying on a board.
Yeah.
They were
Thank you.
going and doing appointments, and somebody like,
Thank you.
yeah, I'd like to stay on. And Karen, I
I'm like,
love that committee.
I love that group. I was on it. I want to be on it.
Yep.
Like, don't take me off of it.
It's hard for us to move forward.
No, it's
if nobody's
really
here.
so great that we have a former Bay Oaks
Okay,
member
so
that
here
is the
I
liaison.
on-
Very, because she
so
understands. what the-
Betty is up this October. John and Bruce Butcher. Barbara Hill is 2025. Becky, Joy, and Jesse are all 2025.
So we were the 4 that they.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it's John,
Bruce,
Bruce,
and Betty.
and Betty.
I think Betty is having some logistical error issues too, because she lives in Bonita Springs. She's no longer living on the
Right.
beach. And
A little
plus-
birdie told me it's getting close to being back on the beach, though.
Is that right?
Yes, I can't confirm or deny that,
Okay.
but
Whoa, that'd be
somebody
awesome.
told me today that getting very close. So
Oh,
good for her.
wonderful.
Oh, I
Yes.
hope
Wonderful.
for
I'm
her
hoping
that
that
that's the
happens.
case.
And actually, the meetings, it says, typically meets on the first Tuesday of each month
And we changed it to
to
Wednesday.
Well,
What are you reading from? Like
This is the town.
The website.
the
council.
town, oh, so that needs to be updated.
That needs to be updated.
Or we'll have our PIO update that.
Yeah, our new PIO can update that. for us.
Yes,
She's awesome.
it's already a huge improvement.
And I think I'll let her, I mean, I don't know if she's listening, but I'll let her know.
And then
Okay,
the only thing I just want to confirm,
yes.
so Jeff, you're going to work with John when he's coming in for April, and then we'll
Yes.
get that meeting set up with.
Yeah, I already had a conversation with Andy and Frankie.
Perfect.
It's on their radar.
Perfect.
So
Great.
their schedule's a little more.
So I'll dial in, and then you guys will vote that it's okay for me to call in.
We can't vote till that morning. Depends on
Right.
the-
Right.
Yep.
So we have to have a
And like
quorum.
with Betty today, she did call in
Right,
because we couldn't vote. She couldn't be on the phone,
Right.
which is,
right.
and
So
that's
what is that date?
that's under-
April?
It's
The
April,
emergency
4th?
circumstances still.
hold on, it's
I don't think
April 3rd.
3rd.
April 3rd, noon.
Like we know what the meetings are.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 3rd at noon.
Okay.
My car was supposed to go in today for repair, so I brought it yesterday.
There being no members of the public commenting, we will then set the next meeting agenda for April 3rd. And we've got some issues with regard to what's on the agenda, but we're, I think, taking care of that in the meantime. So we'll put all that in the agenda for next month. And is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, yeah, we can't vote.
Let's just
So
leave.
See ya.
We'll just leave. We're out of here.
consider the meeting adjourned.
We're out of here.
I got a
And it
recording
is
of John King saying it.
1:27.